Hey friends, it's Kelly. Thanks for joining me. I am back with a new layout for HipKit. I am going to start today's video with a short Cricut Design Space tutorial. My layout is based off of one of the Facebook forum sketches, and it has a really large title. So I am going to add some text to the design screen to create that title. So to add the text, I've clicked on the add text icon on the left-hand side, and I've started to type the beginning portion of my title. Whenever you add text to the design screen, it's automatically going to default it to the Cricut alphabet font. That is not the font that I'm wanting to use, so I am showing you here under the Edit tab all of the different fonts that are available. I want the title of my layout to be fairly bold, so I'm going to pick the Impact font and I'm going to enlarge it here, and you can see that the letters are, they're spaced pretty far apart, and I don't want them to be that far apart from each other. So what I did was I right-clicked on the word and I selected the Ungroup option, and now I am just clicking on each individual letter and using the arrow keys on my keyboard to shift them to the left to make the word a little bit more condensed so the letters are closer to each other. Now that I'm happy with the spacing in between each letter, I'm going to go ahead and draw a box around the letter, right-click, and then group the word back together. In the sketch, the photo is sandwiched in between two large words. So I have inserted another text box, added my second word. My title is going to be Life Skill, and I am just repeating the same steps with the word skill that I did for the word life. So I've ungrouped, I'm shifting the letters over, then I will draw a box around those letters and group the word back together. Now I need to work on the size of my title, so I'm going to bring it over and lay it on top of the canvas that I've set, which is a 12 by 12 square. And I'm just using the arrow key in the bottom right hand corner to shrink the word down. My photo is going to be a circle, so I'm going to insert a circle and I'm going to size it to the same size that my photo is. My photo is 3 inches, so I'm going to go over to the Edit tab once the circle has been added to the page and enter the measurement of 3. That's going to help me visually see how large the title is, so I know how big I need to make it, so that way I can fit my photo in between those two words. So the title is fairly close to the size that I need it to be. I'm just going to go over to the Edit tab and shrink it down just a little bit more just by entering the measurement of 2.5. Once I have it shrunk down, I like that size. I'm going to remove the circle and go ahead and delete that from the design screen. Now, one tip that I want to show you, if you are ever trying to position words together and you're not sure if they're lined up straight, sometimes it can be difficult to tell. Here you can obviously tell that it's not lined up correctly. You can select both words, go to the Align tab at the top of the screen and click on the Align bottom, and it's going to make sure that the letters are straight. And this is going to be very important for me because I am going to cut these words from the background paper that I'm using and then back the words with either pattern paper or cardstock. Now, because I need to make sure that these words cut exactly how they're shown on the design screen, I need to select both words, go over to the Edit tab and click the Attach button. This is very important if you're wanting the words to stay in this order and have the space in between them like I need, or if you need them positioned a certain way on the design screen. I'm going to go back and show you what happens when you do not attach these words. If you use the group feature or you just do not attach them all together, this is what's going to happen when you send them back to the screen to cut. It's going to arrange them just in a random order, and that is obviously not how I want them to cut since I am going to be cutting these words from my background paper. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to ungroup, and then I'm going to select them again and reattach them, and then I am going to send them to the cutting mat and we are good to go. So here you can see I've cut the title from some white cardstock, and I'm going to leave everything attached to my Cricut mat because I want to add some mixed media. So I'm adding a layer of clear gesso, and then I'm going to come in with the packaging technique in the Oh Glorious Day Vibes from Shimmers. That was actually in the October kits, and it looks like a mustard yellow color, but when you apply it, it's actually this really pretty gold color. So I'm just going to use the packaging and just smush the color around those words that I've cut out on that white cardstock. So you saw me bring my photo over to the layout to check the mixed media, and hopefully it won't be too distracting, but there is a strip of washi over a portion of that photo. This photo was taken at my son's school during a ceremony, and his teacher is standing next to him. And I really like to try to respect the privacy of others when I don't have their permission to use their photos on my blog or in my videos. So I've added that strip of washi just to cover her face. You will also see in the still shots at the end of the video that her face is slightly blurred out, again, just to respect her privacy. All right, so getting back to the layout, I am happy with the mixed media. So I am going to lift this white cardstock off of the cutting mat, and I need to decide now what I want to use to back the title. I need to decide if I want to use a pattern paper or if I want to use cardstock. I was really debating between that pink paisley pattern paper and this purple cardstock, but I felt like the title jumped off the page a lot more using the purple cardstock. So that's what I'm going to go with. So I'm going to trim this down, and then I am going to add it to the back of the white cardstock. All of the products that I use for my layout today, with the exception of the Oh Glorious Day vibes that I use for my mixed media, are included in the December kits. So while I'm adhering this down, I'm going to give you a little bit more information about the photo that I'm using. I know that I mentioned that it was taken at a ceremony at my son's school, and it was actually taken during the Life Skill Leader Award ceremony. The school that my son goes to, the teachers pick 2 students every trimester for the Life Skill Leader Award, and they're given to the students that show effort, caring, perseverance, common sense, initiative, patience, flexibility, etc., etc. And the students actually don't know that they've been chosen. A letter is sent home to the parents letting them know that they were chosen for the award, and then they have a ceremony. So it's a surprise to the kids. They don't know who was picked to get the award. And I kept it a secret from Aiden. He had been hoping all year long that he was going to get chosen. This was actually the final ceremony of the year. And I surprised him by showing up to the ceremony. And I was just so excited for him. And he was so excited. And his teacher gave a little speech about why he was chosen to receive the award. And I include that in my journaling. But I am just so proud of him. And it was just so much fun to see him get up there in front of all of his classmates and all of the parents and receive his award. So I'm super excited that I got this photo. And this photo actually isn't of the best quality because it was taken so far back. We were in the bleachers and they were pretty much on the opposite side of the gymnasium. But I wanted to make sure that even though it's not a great photo, that I documented it and that I include it in my scrapbooks. All right, so getting back to the layout, quite a bit has happened. You saw that I added some hand stitching around my title. And then I also went through quite a few of the pattern papers to try to figure out what papers I wanted to use for the strips of paper underneath my title. And I'm still trying to figure out the arrangement that I want to use. I know that I'm going to use that manufacturing strip from the Pink Paisley Take Me Away collection. And then I'm also going to use that silver foiled polka dot paper from Echo Park. I played around with those pattern papers for quite a while before deciding on using the manufacturing strip from that pattern paper there, and that is an exclusive to Hip Kit Club. Now I'm still trying to decide what else I want to add, so I'm going to fussy cut a strip of this paper from that Paige Evans Take Me Away collection. Now I've sped this next part up pretty fast because it's pretty much just me struggling to figure out what I want to do. I want to add a cluster to the top right hand side of the layout, but I don't know what papers I want to use or what embellishments I want to use. So I end up moving on and I actually add some journaling to the bottom portion of the layout. And there's quite a bit of journaling on there, and I use my We Are Memory Keepers typecast typewriter, and you're going to see that in just a moment. I do bring in another of the pattern papers from the main kit, and this is the Maggie Holmes Bloom collection pattern paper, and I'm going to fussy cut out some of those plus signs. I think that I want to add them as embellishment pieces, but they don't end up making it onto the layout. There you can see that I've added my journaling, and I was showing you a little bit of detail on that photo. I used a stitch die to cut the photo, so there's a little bit of a stitch line around the outer edge of that circle, and it's hard to see from this angle, and you can see it in the close-ups, but I like just that subtle detail that it adds. I've added the word celebrate to the top left hand side of the layout, and that is an exclusive die cut that is included in the Project Life kit. I've also added the word leader to the bottom right hand side of the title using the black thickers that are included in the main kit. Now I've moved back to the top right hand side of the layout, just trying to figure out how I want to arrange this cluster. And this was the portion of the layout that probably gave me the most trouble. I just could not figure out what papers I wanted to use or what embellishments I wanted to use to create that cluster. I do end up sticking with that purple strip of pattern paper from the Pink Paisley Paige Evans Take Me Away collection. And I do bring in a couple of ephemera pieces from the Take Me Away ephemera pack. A lot of this is done off camera because my battery actually ends up dying, so you don't see exactly how it comes together on camera, but you will see it in the still shots. I do also add another exclusive die cut from that exclusive die cut pack that's included in the Project Life kit. There you can see I was trying to get those fussy cut plus signs to work as ephemera pieces, and I actually like how it looks. I think that I may go back and fussy cut some more of those out and use it on a future layout. So I couldn't exactly figure out what I wanted to do up there, so I move on to a different portion of the layout and add some stitching. I added a zigzag stitch through the strips of pattern paper towards the bottom of the layout, and then also stitched through the word celebrate. Now I've moved back to the top cluster, and there you can see I've added a frame from the Pink Paisley Take Me Away collection, and I'm just going to tuck it around that purple pattern paper. And I do bring in a second ephemera piece and add that, and then also the exclusive die cut for my date. Here are the still shots. You can see I added a little bit more stitching to that top cluster, and then I also added some sequins from the Pink Paisley sequin pack, and then one of the exclusive acrylic stars. Remember to head over to the Facebook forum to check out the sketch. I'll be back again soon with a new layout and a new process video. Thanks for watching.